How's it guys, this is Dayvy FPL and welcome back to my channel. Now we're not going to be looking at an FPL video, but we're going to be looking at the Champions League round of 16 fantasy team for this game week. I know it's not a Premier League video, but I know there's a lot of excitement around this Champions League as it's finally the knockout stages and we're finally getting to see the teams kind of heat up a little bit, and we're seeing the best the teams have to offer, play against each other, and we've got some very tasty lineups here in the round of 16. So this video is going to be basically a little bit of a roundup of what's happened so far and how you can approach this round of 16 in terms of your fantasy team. And then you'll also be taking a look at my team and how I've kind of tried to optimize the best squad so I think we'll get the best points in this round of 16 draw. So firstly, I'm just going to take a look at the matches that will take place, and we're going to kind of talk about them a little bit, and I'm also going to be starting off with my tips of how you guys can address this game week. So first I'm going to kind of address the rules that we're going to be looking at for this game week. So as you can see, there's a lot of fixtures happening, 8 in total, and these are spread out around 2 weeks. And as you can see, you can make substitutions within each match day, but you cannot make any transfers. So just keep that in mind when you are making your team. So that means that you can have a captain on Tuesday, Wednesday, and then the following Tuesday and Wednesday as well. So it's kind of a good strategy at the moment to have a good captain for each of those game weeks or match days, as then that gives you the best chance of scoring points if your first option doesn't score, for example. And also you guys must pay close attention to these match days, as you can be making substitutions on the fly, and if a player doesn't perform, you can quickly sub them in and out. So just keep track of that. The next tip I'm going to give you is you guys must kind of go and look at these matches and kind of do a prediction of who you think will be progressing. So for example, for Man United versus PSG, you could be like, listen, I think Man United are in great form, I think they're going to progress, and then you can fit some players in from their team. I say this as you can't really go and rearrange your team that much now throughout the knockout stages. So pick the guys who you think are going to progress and then stick by them. What I'm saying basically is don't pick a whole team of differentials and then if they don't qualify, you suddenly don't have a team. Pay attention and pick the favorites for each game and kind of incorporate who you think is going to do well. So first we have Man United versus Paris Saint-Germain, a very interesting fixture. The one thing to note is that Neymar is apparently out for the first game or even the first and second game. So keep track of that injury news. Very tough one to call. As I said, both are quite attacking teams, so I'm expecting a lot of goals from them. So it should be a good game. Then we have Roma versus Porto, who I think Roma will be the favorites and should win this tie. So that's that. Then we have Ajax versus Real Madrid. Very interesting fixture as well. I do think Real Madrid are the favorites, even though they haven't really been playing that well this season. They have kind of picked up a little bit of form recently and they should dispatch Ajax with ease. Then we have Tottenham versus Dortmund, the high flyers of the Bundesliga, and I'm kind of favoring Dortmund a little bit in this tie. Spurs are a great team and I expect them to do well still, but I just think Dortmund have too much for them. Then we have Lyon versus Barcelona, who obviously Barcelona will be the favorites and I'm backing them a lot. Then Liverpool versus Bayern, also another up in the air fixture, could go either way. Then we have Schalke versus Man City. I take Man City for this one. And then we have Atletico versus Juventus, and I do think Juventus will take this one, although I do think that tie will be very tight. So now, once we've looked at all these teams and who we think are going to do well, let me run you through my team and who I've selected for this game. So first thing I want to say is that, as you can see, there are quite a few players that are injury written on this fantasy website, but you guys must just go and take a look and see if they actually are injured. For example, Nacho is listed as injured on the Champions League website on this fantasy page, but then he played this weekend just for Real Madrid and he didn't get injured or anything. So just be cautious, they might not be injured. And also, this video is coming out quite early. It's going to be the week before the start of the Champions League. I'm just bringing it out so we can get a little bit of thought-provoking and we can all get our thoughts in and make the best teams possible. So please keep track of the injuries up until the deadline, as there are a lot of fixtures happening between now and especially on the weekend, so please keep track of them. My lineup, at the top I've gone for Dzeko, Mbappe and Lionel Messi. As I said, I expect Roma to dispatch Porto, so I'm going for Dzeko. He did have that little bit of outburst in the Italian Cup where he spat on the referee, but he is not banned for any Champions League games. That's only for the Italian Cup. So I'm backing Dzeko. He's the main man for Roma, and I hope he does well. Then we have Mbappe. As I said, I expect the United PSG game to be full of goals, and with Neymar out, I expect Mbappe to step up. I'm backing him instead of Cavani as he's a little bit cheaper, and I personally think he offers more goal threat with his pace. So that's that pick. Then I've gone for Lionel Messi, the GOAT, as I do think that Barcelona are heavy favourites against Lyon. Lionel Messi is always at the centre of the Barcelona attack, so I expect him to get some points. Then I've opted for Leroy Sané. The thing about the Man City options, and I'll probably chop and change them until the deadline, is with Pep, you never know which team he will play. We saw it this week with the Premier League. So I will be changing my players up until the deadline of them. The options, as I said, are endless with Man City. There's Sané, Mahrez, Sterling, even the front two. However, I do think I'm happy with my front three, so I don't think I'll be bringing in Aguero or Jesus. Then we've got Marco Reus, who I expressed how I think Dortmund will do well. And he's as well. He's currently playing the number 10 position, which I think fits him perfectly. And he's getting a lot of goals for Dortmund, so I'm backing him. Then we have Phil Coutinho. A little bit of a, I don't know, pick. Coutinho's gone through a little bit of drop in form with Barcelona, a lot of speculation about him, but I still see he is playing in their starting 11. And I think that it's not a bad thing to double up on the Barcelona attack. So I will be monitoring his involvement in my team. I could swap him out for someone else, but I'll keep you updated. Then I've gone for Kolarov, Laporte, Cancelo, and Nacho. That's going to be my backline. All teams have favourable fixtures, and I do think they will do well. Just to touch on Nacho a little bit. Nacho's a little bit of a differential pick. He started at centre-back in the weekend for Real Madrid. So he might not play, he might play. I'm just having him on my team as I can easily switch him in and out. And then Cancelo, obviously, I expect Juventus to do well. I'm still considering bringing in a Juventus attacker, but as I said, the Atletico-Juventus game should be quite tight, so not expecting many goals from that one. Then we have Edison in goal, as I'm doubling up on the Man City assets. I think they will do well in this tie, so backing them. Then I have Olsen versus Porto, the Roma keeper. I kind of went under the radar a little bit. I didn't really realize that he was keeping, but it looks like he is in the Roma team. So, and he's quite cheap at 4.2, so I'm happy to have him in my team. Then I have Bernat with PSG. I don't really know that much if him or Hernandez plays in that wingback slot. So I'll also have to monitor that situation, but I'm very happy to have him in my team. Then I have James Milner, who is, as you know, the penalty king. Just have him on my team in case I need to sub him on or one of my midfielders doesn't perform. Then I have Sancho, who was also a little bit of a differential. Don't know if he plays that much. He seems to come off the bench a lot for Dortmund. So I'm hoping that he can kind of go into my team and do well for me. Then I'm going to kind of take a look at some of the transfers that you could make. The one that I'm kind of also considering is maybe taking out, I don't know if it'll be Messi, but kind of he is a good option. Messi for someone like Lewandowski, but as I said that I do not know about this Bayern-Liverpool lineup. I think that it's a very tight one and it could go either way, and I don't really want to put 11.2 million in a player that I'm not sure that will get returns. The other option I could have gone for was Griezmann, but as I said, I expect the Juve defense to be quite solid. They are always classified as a very solid defensive team, so not really looking to Griezmann right now. Then the other option I would have considered would have been Cristiano Ronaldo. I do think that he is a great option and should hopefully do well. I'm just kind of edging towards Lionel Messi in the lineup because of his just attacking threat, and I think that Juve don't really score that many goals. They usually get 1 or 2 and then they close out the game. So I'm opting for Messi as he should be the front runner on that. As I said, with the Man City options, it's a little bit weird. Could go for any one of them. Another player to maybe look at is Under for Roma. He plays in the midfield slot and he is quality. He's also quite cheap, so if you kind of can't afford Dzeko, then maybe look at getting Under in, which could be an option. Maybe getting Under in and then upgrading Dzeko to someone like Ronaldo. Other players are like Mo Salah. I'm kind of leaning away from Mo Salah as he's quite expensive. I do back him to get a lot of points, but I just think that I'm going to spread my money a little bit better. And the other option I was considering was Mane. I originally had Mane in my team, but took him out for Leroy Sané, as I just thought that I had to get on that Man City team. I think their draw is a lot more profitable than Liverpool's, and I expect Man City to score a lot more goals than Liverpool. The other option you can go for is a player like Paul Pogba, who is on remarkable form right now, and he is also on pens, which is an interesting thing to note, and I expect him to do well. Coming at a 9 million though is a little bit maybe expensive, but if you're going to back Man U to get a result over PSG, he'd be my go-to man for them. In terms of defense, I was looking to bring in maybe another Real Madrid player, but I couldn't afford them, so I did end up with Nacho, who's 4.9, but as I said, I'll monitor that situation. In terms of the team, I'm very open to advice and lots of information that you guys can bring. I know a lot of you watch these leagues and are highly involved in them and support these teams, so you can bring me the latest news on them if they do get injured. So I expect you guys to do that, and I thank you for that. In terms of anything else, please leave your questions down below. I'm sure there are going to be a lot of questions. As everyone has a wild card, so that's also a thing to note, is that everyone has their wild card. You can make unlimited changes. But otherwise, I'm looking forward to the team. If you want my final team, I'll be uploading it to the YouTube community page. I'll be posting it, and I'll also be posting it on my Twitter. So follow me if you're not already. Otherwise, this has been Dayvy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers, bye.